Hello everybody and welcome back. You are listening to episode 34 of the Wellsy Weekly Podcast, the show where I talk about anything and everything. My name is John, aka Wellsy, and this week, love is in the air. Everywhere I look around. And Marvin Gaye is singing Let's Get It On far too many times, right? I'll tell you that now. Because it's Valentine's Day, or at least it will be on Friday. And I feel like Valentine's Day, people either love it or hate it, and I'll tell you why. If you're in a couple, you love it because you can be all lovey-dovey and cute and cuddly and mushy and all that kind of stuff. But if you're single, a lot of people are salty because they don't have anybody to share it with and they feel alone. Well, let me tell you something right now. I'm single and I'm alone, but I'm not salty about it at all, and I'll tell you why. So, I take Valentine's Day pretty seriously. I spend it by myself and I do something that I want to do by myself. I have a bit of me time, you always need it. So what my plans are for this year is I'm going to be watching the Back to the Future trilogy, probably with loads of snacks, maybe a pot of ice cream, probably Ben & Jerry's, maybe a packet of Doritos. Ooh, I can get Pringles. Oh, I've got to get barbecue Pringles because, there's no other flavour that's just right, alright? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And you should do the same, you should spend the day by yourself. And another good thing about Valentine's Day is the fact that the next day the chocolates are cheap as hell. So you know what that means? I can fill my snack drawer up. And I can do it pretty cheaply as well. So if you haven't guessed already, this week we're all going to be talking about Valentine's Day. I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about the day and how it came about. And then tell you some traditions that people do around the world, because apparently it's not just in this country. I don't know why I thought Valentine's Day was just celebrated in England, but apparently it's not. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. But before I get into anything, I want to let you know the question of the week is, what is your favourite type of chocolate? Are you a straight up Cadbury's kind of man? Or are you more of a fancy girl like Ferrero Rocher's? If you want to answer, let me know down below in the comments. It'd be much appreciated. Now, let's kick things off with a little bit of history. It's like, if I asked you where Valentine's Day originated from, I guess most of you wouldn't actually know. I certainly didn't know before this episode, and I'll tell you now. So, it all started with a man named Saint Valentine, and he was a priest doing priesty things round about the 3rd century in Rome. Now, at this point in time, the emperor ruling Rome and the Roman Empire, I think it was Caesar, I'm not entirely sure, but all I know is there was a ban of marriages. And the reason for this was because the emperor believed that married men were bad soldiers. So he banned marriages altogether. But Mr. Valentine over here was secretly hitching people. Oh yes, he was. He was like a secret agent, hitching people left, right and centre. Oh, brilliant, genius. The man was defying the people. Well, he wasn't defying the people, he was defying the emperor. But same thing, you know what I mean. So, Valentine also had a missus as well, and he was pretty happy with her until he got caught. Yes, he got caught hitching people up. So he was eventually caught and killed on February the 14th, which is why we celebrated on the 14th of February. Now, on the day of his death, he sent his missus a little note, and at the end of the note, it said, "From your Valentine," which is probably why we have most of our cards that say, "From your Valentine." Now, that's a real love tragedy story. Up yours, Romeo and Juliet. You don't get a day after you. Wait, do they have a day? Hang on, let me check. Just give me 2 secs. Do they have... No, Romeo and Juliet don't have a day. So, haha! Yes, Mr. Valentine is done better than you because he's got a whole day dedicated to him. And to all the loving stuff. So, Mr. Valentine over here, he's pretty cool to be fair. He's quite an interesting chap, He's being just like a secret agent. He's like Agent Valentine. We could call him like 00 Love, licensed to hitch. No, don't actually call him that. That'd actually be really weird. I'll tell you what would be weird, if they had chocolate in the 3rd century. Maybe it was like a delicacy back then. I'm not sure if they actually had chocolate. The reason I keep bringing it up is because I want to remind you that the question for this week is, what is your favourite type of chocolate? Are you one of these people that just loves boxes and celebrations, heroes, maybe some roses if you're really fancying it? Or do you just like a straight up chocolate bar that can just like mush it into your face? Let me know down below in the comments. Now, as mentioned earlier, England is not the only place that Valentine's Day is celebrated. Oh no, it's actually celebrated across the entire globe, which I really didn't think it was. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't believe it. It just never came into my head, to be honest. So, when I was prepping this part of the episode, I wanted to look up some traditions, right, from across the world, and basically just try and find the really weird ones. I was thinking like something really weird was going to happen, and they were all going to be like something I can take the pee out of. But to be honest, they're all quite sweet and they're quite nice actually. So that's what we're going to do instead. We're just going to talk about some of the nicer ones really. And to kick things off, we're going to go all the way to South Africa, where they have a tradition where they wear their loved ones' names on their sleeves. Now, I'm not entirely sure if these are pins or tattoos or a combination of the both, but it's predominantly women that wear their partner's name on their sleeves on the day itself. Some men do it as well, but I tell you what, they've got the right attitude, you know. They're just telling the world that they love someone, and they're not afraid to show it, you know. It's really nice and it's quite sweet actually. It's definitely better than taking her to the pub and buying her the fancy cocktail, you know. They actually wear it on their sleeves. Go them, good for them. Now, another tradition that I found was a little closer to home. It's actually in Wales. And what people do in Wales is something called spooning. No, not that kind of spooning, you dirty-minded people. No, I'm talking about love spoons. So it's an older tradition. I can't say that today. Tradition. There we go, I said it there. Yeah, basically they have this thing where the men would get a block of wood and they'd carve a spoon out of it, and they'd have symbols of love and maybe some Celtic knots and that kind of stuff, and then they'd give it to their loved ones. And I think that's quite nice, because, you know, there's some sentiment and value and there's effort put in behind it. I mean, I'm sure people do it nowadays as well, but I don't think many of the guys are going to be carving it straight from a bit of wood. They're probably buying it, but, you know, the thought's there and it still counts, so, you know, that's quite a nice one, to be honest. Also, I just like the idea of just carving a spoon. Like, why would you ever carve a spoon? I don't get it. Why a spoon of all things? But, you know, who am I to judge, eh? And the final tradition that I found today, or I'm going to share with you today, is from Germany. Now, Germany is known for being avid lovers and loving the intimacy of, you know, relationships, shall we say. We'll keep it PG for now. So if there was going to be a weird tradition, it'd be here. But I really didn't expect this one, to be honest. No, so in Germany, they have these things called romance pigs. Now, in Germany, the pig is a symbol of love and lust. You know, very saucy. And it's just spread across everything and all the presents and all that kind of stuff on Valentine's Day. So people get like chocolates in the shape of pigs, you know, there'll be pigs on the Valentine's cards. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, just getting a card with a pig on it. Because why not? Pigs are cool. I like pigs, actually. I think they're quite cute, especially piglets. Then again, most like small animals or baby animals are quite cute, to be fair. But yeah, I wouldn't mind a pig on a card. I think that'd be great. Oh, and then you could get like the best present ever, breakfast in bed with a bacon butty. Just imagine it, right? So, you're in bed and you turn and your missus ain't there and you're like, oh, where's she gone? But then she walks through the door and in one hand she's got a cup of tea and in the other hand she's got a bacon butty, buttered on both sides of the bread with ketchup in the middle and, you know, bacon obviously. Oh, because you can't have a bacon butty in sliced bread, it's just wrong and it's just nasty. You shouldn't do it like that. It definitely should be a bread bun or a bread bath or whatever you call it, because I know some people call it them batches, which is, I think it's something from Coventry, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, definitely have it in a bread roll rather than sliced bread. And I think that's it for today's show, actually. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I'll remind you that the question for this week is, what is your favourite type of chocolate? Let me know down below in the comments. It'd be much appreciated. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I hope you spend it with somebody you really want to. Whether that's your actual couple, if you're in a relationship, or with just some mates, you know, your single mates and having a party and not being alone. So until next time, enjoy a cuppa.